Hey guys, welcome to the future. Welcome to another review. I am Mr. P and today I am going to be doing this beast. So what I'm doing today is the SMOK BEC Pro, previously known as the Pro VEC. So that's what I'm doing today, is the BEC Pro. Bit of information about it for you. 50 watt capable tube mod, up to 12 volts this thing can push. Resistance is between 0.3 and 3 plus ohms. 650 battery, in fact there she is there. So that's what I'm doing for you today. There's lots of other cool stuff yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into a close-up. I'm going to show you the BEC Pro, how it works and what you do, and I'm also going to show you the app that you get with it via Android or App Store, which is seriously cool. So I'm going to show you that now, then obviously come back up to me and have a little chat about it. Right guys, close-up of the SMOK BEC Pro. So this is how she comes. Okay, nice little box, little security, god damn it, glare, security sticker down here. There we go, let's get rid of that. There you go, authenticity sticker down there. You've also got your e-markings and so on and so forth that are relevant down here on the bottom of the box. Along the top, as you can see it, you know, it's a fairly solid presentation box. It's nice to get. So we'll undo that. We've got some drying gel in there, and then inside we have one, two, so we've got the mod and the additional top cap. If we unpack the box here, we've also got a nice little set of instructions, so you know, bits and bobs that you need to know, how to work it, so on and so forth, and everything else. Okay, again, instructions, they're always good to have, and to be honest, I think they should be compulsory with every and any mod and or atomizer out there. Just my view though. So here we go, let's have a little look at her. Let me just bring you in a bit, oh, wrong way, there we go. So BEC, we'll start off with the top caps first of all. It's actually removable here. This is kind of like a unit, like an EVIC, you know, PCB or a control unit head there, and that's, you know, that's what we screw onto. But we have got two top caps now. The difference, obviously, as you can see, it's quite visible. One is open and exposed right there. Okay, so you've got your ego threading shown in case you was using an ego threaded device on here. The other is a completely flat top, no ego threading shown. Your 510 does protrude slightly, but to combat that, if you want a flush mount, undo a fraction of a turn and you will know difference, won't make a difference at all. So that's what that is. I mean, this is the same as this one in regards to air paths, and I will show you them there and there and there. Okay, there. They're exactly the same, so I can get rid of that one. You've seen it, so you've got an ego and a flat top. Right now, let's get into the mod itself. Let's take it apart first of all. So we've got our bottom cap. I have already used it, just in case you wouldn't have imagined that was the case. And take it into our parts. So there we go. That's us in our component parts. What we have is obviously tube section, bottom cap, top cap, and then our modular section, which controls the power output, and it's got all your switches and everything you need. That's what you're paying for, basically. So first things first, I will get into the top cap properly. Standard sort of threading on here, it screws straight on, leaves your 510 exposed, or if you've got the other one, 510 and ego around the base there, just in case you are using an atomizer that is air fed from the 510. You've got your air paths cut in there to allow air to go through there, and then up into this 510, which has air paths cut into it, and then into your atomizer if it is fed through the 510 connection, you know, which some atomizers are. So wicked, that's been thought of, and I do like that. Other than that, it's just a hefty chunk of stainless steel. It's not super heavy, but you know, it feels quality because it's got a bit of weight behind it, and it is stainless steel. We'll get into the bottom cap. Well, it fits the style of the top cap with the slats along the top, screws in down the bottom there. If we go right into the bottom here, you've got designed by SMOK CE markings, and then you've got 4 vent holes, one in the middle and then 3 along the outer edge. As you can see there, again stainless steel. As you come to the bottom, you've got a brass contact down there. Why that's not a spring, I'm not entirely sure, to be perfectly honest with you, but I've tried to budge it and it doesn't budge, which is a bit strange. but that's the contact there, and obviously you've got 4 vent holes along the outside. I mean, there's obviously something going on here because you've got 4 holes there, 3 holes there, so there is a layer in between those two. But either way, your vent is coming out the bottom of your switch. It's all stainless steel with a brass contact, so awesome stuff. Into the tube itself, the tube is fairly simple, it's just a tube. Now these little markings down here, all these sort of, it's hard to drill marks, I guess, what would you call that, spotting. On the camera it looks very itsy glitzy. It's a lot less prominent when it's actually in front of you. They look very noticeable there, and they are actually a lot more subtle when it's in front of you. But it is a stainless steel tube all the way through. Obviously fits an 18650 battery, and you've got a slight flare towards this end to accommodate for the control head size, okay. And then into the control head itself, fairly simple stuff. Brass contact there, a nice big bit of dowel in there for insulation and so on. Screw thread around here onto your tube, and it will only fit on one way in case you thought you was going to you know, get it to work the other way, and there you go, it stops there, so that's no good. Up into the base section here, okay, so obviously you've got a fairly substantial chipset up here. You'll notice the Bluetooth written along there, bit of branding, SMOK, 1 button, and then BEC Pro, and obviously our screen behind here. So what we'll do, let me just grab a top cap and get that put on. The instructions manual, I told you I never read them, I'm a liar because I did this one, recommends you put the battery in with the base section on and then screw it up. Now, because there's no spring involved, it's a bit strange. I'm making contact there, not what I'd call nice contact, but that there is what I'd call nice contact. There is a slight gap, but to be honest with you, screw it up, makes no difference whatsoever. It just feels like a little bit more pressure than there would usually be from my mods, but then that is the case. I don't know if you saw it then, but just in case you didn't, I'm working upside down here, guys, so you might have to bear with me. We'll screw it in, and there you go, you've got SMOK on the screen, and there you go, screwing that right up. In fact, I think we will chuck an ATI on, just for argument's sake. There we go. Now this is the thing, because you've got a 510, you've got a little gap there, but like I say, I've just been loosening that off. You never know. I can live with a gap there because I can't see it, basically. That's what I'm saying. I have over primed this dripper, if I'm honest with you guys, in order to allow for me to push the button on this. So, with what we know about the BEC, let's bring it back out a little bit. We know this is a 12 volt mod, Bluetooth, 50 watts, and lots of stuff going on. But I'm going to take you very quickly through the menu system. So, basically, to access the menu system, when you turn it on, 5 clicks to turn it on. Welcome. Now, once we are in and we're on, we can fire it, okay. But what we've actually got is a 3-click menu system. So 1, 2, 3, and it brings up the menus, okay. I'll go through each of these individually. So B is Bluetooth, goes into it on or off. So for example, put it on, select it to on, and leave it for a couple of seconds. The Bluetooth now on, and you're back into your standard vaping mode. Second, so 1, 2, 3, and second is watts plus. Okay, so at the minute I'm at 20 watts. Now this is a 50 watt device, and I've got it set to watts, and I'll show you how to change that. This is a 50 watt device, so this will go all the way up to 50. Okay, it does round robin, but to be honest, it's going to take me forever to show you that, but I will, just because, you know, it's nice to know. It is nice because you haven't got 2 buttons, you can't go up and down in the same menu. So to get to 50, you know, you can then get, here we go, back down to 6. Okay, so that's that, and then you find your setting, leave it, and you're vaping at that current setting. Alright, that won't actually be vaping at that setting because its minimum output voltage is 3 volts. So it'll be pushing 3 volts through that coil, which is a low risk coil, and I'll be somewhere around 18 watts. Anyway, 1, 2, 3. Watts minus, exactly the same as a plus, but in reverse. Okay, so round robin again, we've got 50 watts. So if I hit the button, we're now at 50 watts. Okie dokie, then one more time. It's not one more time, is it? It's a few more times, but still. This is the 4th option. Now this here, it lets you choose what you want to have on the screen. Okay, so if I go to output, which is what it was on before, hopefully you can clearly see this, it puts the output and tells you the watts that are out. Okay, there we go. And in fact, I am actually going to have to put some more juice on this dripper because 50 watts kills the juice. So let me just put some more juice in, as I'm going to kill my coil. There we go. If I then go again, go into the information. Next would be battery. So what I can do is come back to the main menu, and now when I push the button, it's actually displaying the battery life, which is 3.8 volts. Okay, So instead of getting your power setting, you get your battery life setting. Fairly simple. And then go back in again. Now it's the ohms of the atomizer. So I push the button now, 0.5 ohm atomizer. Okay, lovely stuff. And then we go back in again. And this one's quite cool. Temperature, or temp. It's temperature. Push that and it will tell you the temperature of the device. That's not the atomizer, that's the device. Okay, so what we at there? 105 Fahrenheit apparently. I don't know what that is in proper money. You can change that to Celsius, I believe. If we're going to 5, we've got our different modes here. So watts mode is what we've just on, so you just leave it if you want to go to watts mode, no problem. And you'll see from the rest you've got watts mode, MEC mode and volts mode. So we're going to MEC mode. Okay, now if we hit the MEC mode, it displays the wattages you're achieving. Okay, if I have that set to volts, it will display the voltage you're actually getting to the atomizer, but that tells you the watts that you're actually achieving in MEC mode. There's no interference there from the PCB, it's not altering the current, it just gives you the output that you're achieving. So if I then go back in, I think first of all what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the information displayed on the screen. So I'm going to put it back onto output first of all. If I then go back in, and I've gone round too far, so in the menu you can round robin as well. If I then get her into volts mode, 12 volts. First model I've ever seen that will do 12 volts. So back in, and then finally we can go back into watts mode, like so, and then 50 watts. Now if you do have a setting on watts, for example, so I've got it set to 50 watts, but then I was to go into my volts mode and decide I wanted 3.9 volts, I'd be vaping at 3.9 volts. Then when I went back into watts mode, I would still be on 50 watts, so it's got a kind of a memory of the setting, and that also applies when you remove the battery, which is pretty cool. And then number 6 is lock mode, so you can either lock or unlock the device. So if you put it on lock, you can't fire it, okay, so you have to unlock it to fire it. It will still be on, but you won't be able to access the firing button. You know, it just won't work. Basically, all you can do is access the menus to then unlock. And then last but not least is our power button. So if you click the power button, you can cancel it or you can select off, turn it off, say SMOK, and then wishes you goodbye. And from there it's off, and then it's a 5 click to get it back on. Welcome again, and we're away again, vaping at 50 watts. Now, a lot of you will know that this has an app for the phone. Now, usually this isn't my kind of thing, to be honest with you, but I am going to demonstrate the app to you because I think what it can do is bloody amazing. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm actually going to end this video. I'm going to get my phone set up and load the app for you, and I'm going to show you exactly what the app can do as well. Right guys, welcome back to me. For you instant, but for me it's been a little while. So what I've got is my phone, my iPhone, and I've got my BEC. And I just really want to show you a couple of key features that the app can do. It can do some really cool stuff, but I want to show you, a few of the key features. So first of all, before we start anything, what we need to do, and hopefully you can make this out, if I push the BEC 3 times, Bluetooth comes up, okay, and we switch that to on. Okie dokie. In fact, I hold the BEC up here. So currently we're set at 50 watts with a 0.5 ohm load, there or thereabouts. So what I'm going to do now I've turned the Bluetooth on here, is I'm going to make sure the Bluetooth's on my phone, which it is, and I'm going to load the app. Downloadable via App Store if you're on Android and if you're on iPhone. In fact, it might be better if I can get something under there just to hold that up. Toenail clippers come in handy. So there we go, that's what we're at there. Now, I've named my BEC Dan's BEC, but it will just be called the BEC. Chances are, as long as you've got them both turned on, when you first load it up, you'll just be searching for any old BEC. Chances are yours is going to be the only one there unless you're in a very busy place full of people who use e-cigs that haven't used them before. But anyway, so you find your BEC. Once you click in that, it'll ask you for a code. I'm going to actually reduce the brightness of it. Let me go back to my menu. I'm actually going to reduce the brightness of this just slightly because that looked like it was going to be pretty glary. So we'll start again. Get rid of that app, and then we'll get that going again. So it's searching now for our BEC, and it's found it's a connector BEC Pro. Let me see if I bring you down a little bit, maybe you'll be able to see stuff a bit better. Now, 6-digit code, it is personalisable and customisable, and you can change it when you get it. I've left mine as standard, which is 6 zeros. You then submit that code. Okay, so we're now connected. This is the standard screen you're going to get on your BEC Pro. So like I say, 50 watts output. Down here, it will register your output. Okay, so I don't know whether you can actually make that out properly or not, but there we go. So what it's saying to me here, 5.14 volts. I'm actually going to bring you right into this here. 5.14 volts, 7 puffs I've had today. The atomizer is 0.51 resistance. And we're actually vaping, we're over volting at 51.48 watts. So I'll push it again. Okay, hopefully you see a bit more there. Not only is there a ohm meter, inside is a puff counter for duration. So there tells you your voltage and your power. Okay, that's pretty sweet. In itself, that's pretty cool. And you think, yeah, that's right. This is the cool part. So you go in here. Now you've got some cool modes here. So for example, vaping on 50 watts. There you go. So I've had enough of vaping on 50 watts and I've got my smartphone connected. So what I'll do is I'll click this here and push the tick. That's now just put me into MEC mode from my phone. That is fucking awesome. So then I've had enough to do that. I'll go into variable voltage mode. Now I've got it set to 12 volts. So if I click tick, I'm now in voltage mode and I'm pushing out 12 volts. What I could do though is, I don't need that. Let's put it down to 5.4 volts. In fact, you know, we'll go even lower, so it's an audible difference. We'll go down to 4 volts. Let's push that there. We're now vaping at 4 volts. Back into this again. I'll go into variable wattage mode. So I'll do that there and set that to 35 watts. 35 watts, we're vaping, lovely. Alternatively, you can go into custom power modes. So you can have preset power modes. So if I go into preset power mode, this is Nautilus, you know, about 12 volts. 12 watts. Or I could go into Cloud Chaser. That's automatically set to 50 watts. Save and engage. We're now back up to 50 watts. There's the distinct smell of very burnt cotton going in, guys. Just to tell you, if we go into here, this is a vape record of what you've been doing. So it tells you what that vape was. 1 second, 1 second, 5.03 volts, 49.38 watts, and an atomizer resistor. So you can keep track of what you're doing. Now you can do that along here as well. Now it has to be connected to register this. It's not got a memory in there, but they're all in there. Now you can go up here and you can actually get it into graphs, which I think is ridiculous. You can get your vaping habits on a graph. So if I go on to a year or something, for example, if it wants to, there we go, actually registers your vaping habits across the day, the week, the month, or whatever you're doing. So guys, let me just, there you go, upside down fingers. So for example, say I've gone to month or year, go year for example. That's on year now. Obviously I've only had it a short period of time. So, but if you could map it for a year, you could work out the most stressful days in your life and what they have in common based on how much you were vaping that day. And chances are it's probably 2 days before payday. But you know, how cool is that? So if I then put it back, go back into this, we can come out of that, and you've got settings. Now this is where it displays your temperature in centigrade. It displays the password, okay, that you want and you've got and you want to change it to, for example, and then you've got the vaporizer name, okay. But that was really just a quick look to show you this section. Really, I can just go variable voltage, variable wattage, MEC mod. I can have them all set or preset to different, and just push a tick and I'm vaping away. Now this to me screams, let's have a laugh with you mate Black Cloud, then when he tries to have a go, change it to 6 watts. But I think that is really cool, and we're getting towards where the future is going to be. And I think I wanted to show you it. You know, 50 watts, and then bosh, a click of a button, I'm at 4 volts. So that makes that menu system even easier to navigate. I mean, if you're out and about, it's not a problem. Like I say, you can just go 1, 2, 3, change from volts to watts. It's fairly easy. You know, there you go, I'm back into watts mode. I'm pushing 50, but you've got it on your phone, so you can change it all. And I thought that was not only noteworthy, but I did my best to show it to you, and I'm hoping you saw it all. So guys, back up to me now, and we're gonna have a little vape on the bad boy. Right guys, welcome back up to me. Sorry if it's a little bit foggy, I was just having a little vape. I've actually changed setup. I've got a Mutation X on there at the minute. I'm gonna go over a bit more information with you about it. Sorry. So as I've said, full stainless steel, Bluetooth, PCB, 18650 tube. I'm kind of, you see it in the close-up, but there's a gap there. I'm kind of hoping, because it's e-cig style, there's going to be e-cig style bodies made for this, like there was with the e-cig head. You could just take the head off, put it in something else. Maybe Cyan Mods will get involved in something like they did with the e-cig. That would be awesome. Right, now, the information on this is varied at best, to be honest with you, because this was originally a 3 to 12 volt mod, and it was 6 to 36 watts. Which I'll get straight into the cool thing about this now, is that this is now a 4 to 12 volt mod, and it goes up to 50. Now, there is a way to upgrade your mod. If you get it and it only does 36, go into the app, see that settings tab where you could change the passcode, click in there and there'll be upgrades. You can upgrade your mod through your phone, none of this connecting to your computer bullshit. Through your phone you can upgrade the mod, just Bluetooth. That is awesome. It was not even out yet and it was upgraded by 14 watts. That is seriously cool, and I have heard rumours there may be a 100 watt upgrade coming for this. So obviously SMOK Tech are knowing that's where this is going, and they're providing us with their best effort. So I love that. It's pulse width modulated, but it's a high flat frequency. I haven't actually tested that, and I have no idea where my Tanko is. But if it is a flat frequency, the Tango should be able to read it, so I'll put that on Facebook when I get around to doing so. The app approved by App Store, which is mainly an iPhone thing, but this is available on your iPad, it's available on your Android devices, 4.3 and up I believe it is. And more app functioning is being added. I know that since I've had it, they've added quite a bit and upgraded the app 4 times. High current sub-ohm can be used on, so yep, you can go down to 0.3 ohms on this. It's not quite as low as 0.2 that you can do on the IPv2, but other than that it can do everything the same, and it can go higher in terms of wattage. Well, in fact it can do wattage. So see what else we've got. This is just SMOK Tech's website, I've just shown you the app. Let me go on to this here. Obviously 510 Ego threaded, and as I've said, variable voltage, variable wattage, and it can be used as a mech. It's a straight through mech. Now don't get me wrong, as is with any modular mech, you're losing a bit of voltage. I tested this the other day using the software that comes with it, so I don't know how accurate that is, but we'll take it as gospel. And on a 4.1 volt battery, which I tested with my multimeter, I was getting 3.81 volts to the atomizer. So, you know, less than 0.3 of a drop through something that's modular. Pretty respectable if you ask me, and in fact you can just disable the chipset and it just goes straight through mech. Obviously it's a wired mech, but it's a mech nonetheless. So short circuit protection, okay, that's what we want. Reverse battery protection, love that too, because you know things like the handlers and stuff, they haven't got that. Sorry guys, I'm talking a bit fast, I know I do, and people, especially American, I know you guys moan at me a fair bit because I do rabbit on quickly. I am trying not to. If you can't understand me, it's unfortunate, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Now, a bit more information. I mean, to be honest, like I said, the information is kind of, because it's been updated, it is varied at best. I have heard there's a 100 watt upgrade possibly coming, but there's no guarantees of that. But they've been able to do it for 50, you know, I'm sure they could push it a bit harder if they wanted to. They may just be holding back, to be honest with you. I'm just going to get straight into, I've had this for about 2 weeks now, and I've been using it pretty much every day. I do kind of have a few cons to do with it, and I'll get into those. But, you know, as is the way, I do a 5-point hit list for mechs and mods, and this is no different. So I've got it set to 50 watts with the Mutation X in, and just, you know, it's such a thick fog, my camera light has just turned off. So I'm going to get straight into the 5-point hit list, and I'm going to just crack on. So looks is the first of all. Now I love this. This I think is really nice. It feels good to use. The button's actually nice to use. I wish there wasn't a lip here. Okay, I wish it was more, you know, flare that tube a little bit more. Give us that little bit more of a flare and get it flush. They've done it to that extent. Why didn't you keep doing it and give me the extra millimetre all the way around? It makes no sense. But that is what it is. Sorry guys, just whilst we're on this, I've just noticed it is 22mm on top. I don't know if I mentioned it in the close-up, I'm pretty sure I didn't, but it is 22mm on top, so your K-funds, your 22mm Atties that we all use are going to fit on it. The black kind of PCB section in the middle is kind of okay and unavoidable, to be honest with you, for what it is. So I'm comfortable with that. The top cap, you have to screw it back up a little bit because the pin, I mean, I have to press that pin quite a bit. The pin does come quite high up, but you know, it's one of them things that you have to do when you're going to try and allow for ego users to use this. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong whatsoever with someone using an EVOD on one of these if that's what they want to do. It's a bit overkill, if you ask me, to be like lighting a candle with a flamethrower, if I'm perfectly honest. But you know, it's there for you to do. It's future-proof. People can get into it and go, I'm willing to invest some money into this, so I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to use EVODs and then work my way up if that's what you want to do. But unlike the HANA, the IPV, any DNA mod that I've ever seen, that I can think of anyway, it's got ego threading, so it hasn't, you know, it's allowed for it. I've gone off on a tangent there. I was on looks. I like the slatting up here. I like the fact you get the flat top cover. Now most of mine is a 22mm, so even without the flat top cover, you wouldn't be able to see down there. But you know, if you are using a Nautilus Mini or whatever that you want, whatever you want to use, whatever you're using on it, if that's what you're using, it's not quite 22mm. It's nice to have that option that you can block it off so it looks like it's not a hollow hole in there. And equally, again, if you're using your ego-threaded devices, it's nice that you're able to do so. I'm going to give the looks a 7. Okay, now I really like it. My opinion is probably a 9, but I mean, for the sake of argument with myself, I've got to give it a 7. It's very long. It is very long. Let me see what I've got. Here's my K-fun next to it. You know, it is a particularly long device. I mean, it's one. Oh, let's take the drip tip out. 1, 2. It's basically 3 K-funds with the 510. Long. Now that's not a precise measurement, but it's the best I can do with you now because everything I own is over there. So it is a long device, and that for me affects the looks. Not so much on its own, but when I stick something like, I don't know, this Arga T5 on the top of it, you know, it's getting on for a sonic screwdriver in length. You know, it'd be that long from base to tip. So I mean, that is a downside for some people. And I am one of them people. So there you go, 7 for looks. But I do like what I see. Okay. Usability is next out of 10. It's been a while since I've done a VV device, to be honest. I know I've done the HANA and a couple of others, you know, but nothing really sort of in this kind of format recently. Usability, it's not the easiest to use, okay? It's a one-button system, so that can be a little bit frustrating, which is where the HANA shone really, because you've got your up and down, and that was pretty much it. On, off and fire, up and down, job done. Whereas this, you've got Bluetooth on, Bluetooth off, power mode up, power mode down, variable voltage mode, MEC mode, what you want displayed on the screen, lock it all, turn it all off, turn it back on. There's a lot there. So it's not the most usable. I've got to say, switching between those modes and you know, adjusting them settings is actually very easy in the app. You know, far easier than it is on the device. I'm not saying it's hard on the device, it's more a reflection on how good the app is. It's very, you know, slider along, plus or minus button if you want to, or preset modes, cloud chasing, Nautilus, Nova, whatever it is you've got set up, EVOD, you know, and you can have that volts, watts, whatever you like. So it's hard because you've got to take it all into account. I'm going to give it an 8 for usability. Within picking it up within 10 minutes, I was more than comfortable with everything on it, how it all worked, including the app, and that includes installing the app, getting them linked together. I didn't actually have to update this one that I got, so I don't know, to be honest with you, I didn't have to update this. It came factory 50 watts, but some of the earlier versions that left the factory earlier may not have, and that update is out there for you guys. So if you have got one and it is only hitting 36 watts, update that bad boy. I mean, I like the update thing. I think this is so cool. I really do. It kind of future-proofs your mod. If this truly is capable of getting a 100 watt update, That is amazing, especially seeing as chances are they won't charge you anything extra for it. I mean, if they said to me, pay an extra £5 and you can have a 100-watt update, I would pay them that £5, no problem. But because you bought it, you're going to get your updates on your app and by association your mod for nothing. So if that does come, and I really hope it does, that catapults SMOK to my favourite company in terms of e-cigs of all time for that and that reason alone. But anyway, it's irrelevant, let's get back onto it. So 8 is my mark for usability. Maintenance is what will be next. Now, there's very little to maintain. You've got to wash it now and again. You know, you've got to wash it, but give it a wipe to get any crap off. Clean your threads and contacts like you do with all mods. Other than that, maintenance for all these kind of devices is just a 10. It's not much there to maintain. So yeah, I'm going to give maintenance a 10. I'm not going to bother talking about it too much. Build quality and price is next. Now, the build quality on this, I think it's a 10. It feels solid. It's got a decent weight to it. It's a very decent weight to it. I've dropped this in a I'm a breaker of things. Anyone who knows me personally will know this. Not just e-cigs, but everything. So chances are, if I own something that isn't broken after a month, it's a winner. I've had this 2 weeks. I've dropped it. No countless times, and it's absolutely fine. Nothing's broken on it, nothing's gone wrong on it. So for that, build quality is going to get a 10. Price, now this varies heavily. I've seen this for as little as £74.99. I've seen this on the exciting side of over 100 quid. Now £74.99, obviously. I think the price is a 10. You're getting a variable voltage up to 12 volts. Variable wattage up to 50 watts, potentially more in the future. Bluetooth connectivity, all of the stuff, the app, you're getting, you know, the mod itself, it is a solid as hell mod. The build quality of it's great. I'm hoping that SMOK bring out some more tubes. That would be awesome. Now, if they brought out a tube that, you know, was 350, for example, 18350, just a small one, okay, and then you had to set it to 18350 mode to limit your amp limit, so you couldn't go to 50 watts, you could only go to say 15 or 20. That would be cool. I doubt they'll do it because, yeah, it puts them in a position where they can be sued because someone hasn't changed the mode. But you know, that would be cool. But just bring us a different look. Bring us out a new top cap. Bring us out a new deck. You know, bring us out a perfectly straight top cap to incorporate them 23mm atomizers. You know, that's the thing I like about this, is that this is changeable. This is changeable. You know, the tube and the top's changeable. Potentially the software inside it is, or it is changeable. It's not potentially, it is changeable because it has already been changed. It's kind of future-proofing it, in my eyes, which is why I think for 75 quid it's a sound investment. That's just my opinion, but you may disagree. I'm giving it a 10 for build quality and price. I think it's spot on. Overall is next. There are niggles. The size is one of them. Okay, it has a 3.4 volt cutoff, not a 3.2 volt. So you kind of feel like you're losing 20% of your battery life before you've even started. Most mods are cut off at 3.2. Now DNAs don't necessarily do that. It's hard to tell, but you know, I feel like you're losing a bit of life there. Something else is when that battery does get low. So, you know, not even 3.4, say it gets to 3.6, 3.7, so a half charge battery. If you're ramping 50 watts through a dripper, like I am now, it will come up power short, okay, and what that means is that there is not enough power in the battery to provide you that setting, not that you've got a short. Hopefully that makes sense, but effectively it means you've got a power shortage, therefore you can't achieve that wattage, so you need to lower it, which was a little bit confusing to start with. Now, things like your HANA and all that kind of gear, they won't do that. They'll set to 30 watts and they just won't hit it. Okay, so, you know, and if you own one of these, you'll know that it doesn't feel as strong as it does when it's full as to when it's empty. If it was truly hitting that mark, it would feel the same. So, in a way, it's a good thing because it lets you know, you're not getting that power anymore. Reduce it a bit and you'll get what you're actually setting it to, you know. But it is an annoyance at the same time. I don't want to have to change my settings, just fire the fucking thing. So it is a give with one hand and take with another. Now I know in any mod, if I get a low battery, I'm not getting what I'm setting. It's just how it works. I mean, maybe if you've got a double, if you've got parallel, they're a bit more, you know, although the battery power's the same, they're a bit more, you know, on board with that. But still, you know we're not getting what we're setting. If we're set to 30 watts on the Hannah and the battery's running low, we're not getting 30 watts, and I don't care what anyone says about that, you're not. So yeah, that's what that is. But I mean, it's a bugbear. You know, like I said, the size, the tube bit there, I would like that to be, you know, more flared. I don't like the fact it's got Bluetooth written there. Now it is Bluetooth, but I know that. I don't need anyone else to know that. You know, and it's kind of, people go, oh, it's got Bluetooth. You kind of, if you're someone like me, you have to go, yes. You know, if you're someone who's really into gadgets and really geeky, and you've got friends who are really into gadgets, it's cool. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy telling people about it and showing them the app. But it's got Bluetooth. Yeah, it's got Bluetooth. You know, take that branding off of it. We know it's got Bluetooth. We bought it knowing it had Bluetooth. So who's it for? I don't know. I like the one button system, but equally, you know, you could eradicate a menu option by just having plus and minus on there. You eradicate 2 menu options, you know, which would be nice. It would be nice to be able to go up and down in one menu. Again, not that it's long, and if you're using the app it's instant, but it's just, it's a niggle. It is a niggle. You know, the top cap up the top there, ego threading. Now, my initial thought was, again, lighting a candle with a flamethrower. It's overkill. Why would you need ego threading on a device like this? Because let's face it, who's putting ego threaded tanks on it? I can't think of any ego threaded tank that would go anywhere near 50 watts as standard. And I think it is a bit overkill for that device, but it is capable of doing 6 watts. So it's kind of like, wow, I don't know why you do it, but I see why you do it, because you want to appeal to more people, which I don't like. Make a mod to make it what it is. But I do like the fact that because they've done that, they've had to make the top cap removable, which means we may see improvements on the top cap, different styles on the top cap. That I like. You know, they could do a top cap that flared out massively into a 28.5mm sort of like flare, and you know, you can fit your really big fatty atties on it. I mean, I've stuck a big Buddha on this and it looks ridiculous. It's kind of compensated before by the fact it's really long, but you know, 22mm really is your limit. And if you're like me, 23mm atomizers like your scrape or your Typhon, they're going to piss you off on this. That is what it is though, isn't it? I'm trying to think of any more downsides to it. The change, this isn't really a downside necessarily, but it's something to watch out for. Changing between variable voltage and variable wattage, it remembers whatever setting you had it on last, which in fact is a positive. But in the heat of things, if you change accidentally, it could kill your atomizer. Also, it can kill you, or not kill you, but you know, you're not expecting. You go, fuck me. You know, I was on, you know, 6 volts on a 2 ohm dripper, and now I'm on 50 watts. It's a different kind of kettle of fish. There is something else. That's another thing to bear in mind as well, which is when using the app will remember, even if you load the app and you fire the device, the app will remember what you last previously set it to within the app, and that's both for voltage and wattage. So it remembers your voltage and wattage settings even when the app's been closed down and whatever else. It remembers what you last set it to via the app, but it's also the same as that, you know. So if I was using a dripper 50 watts on the app, closed the app down, went out for the day, I was using it like this with a K-Fun 18 watts, or 8, or you know, or 4 volts or whatever it is, just in case you're wanting people to change. I like to now and again. If I then loaded the app and wanted to set it back to watts mode and wasn't paying attention, you'd get whatever you set it to last on that app. Which, you know, it'd be nice if it read the results from here and displayed it on the app when you go into the settings to change them. So that's, I mean, that's another thing to bear in mind. One thing I would like to see in the PCB is a stealth mode, or a, you know, a screen off mode. You know, give us a lock mode, fine, but there's a power off there. So is it needed? Replace that lock mode with a stealth mode, so we can vape without having to have the screen on. And my main reason for that is I'm vaping on a MEC, one of the things I like about a MEC is extended battery life, and you know, the screen drains battery, as does the Bluetooth, guys. If you are running this thing around with a Bluetooth on constantly, your batteries will die quicker, and because it cuts off at 3.4 volts, that in turn means even less battery life. You know, it's just how it is. Things that could be improved upon with an update in the app, which is why this is so cool compared to other mods that you get. You know, other VB mods, you get it and you think that's a niggle, that's a niggle, that's a niggle. Nothing I can do about it now, is there? Someone can do something about these niggles with this app. With the app, sorry, and with the update. Whether they will or not is another matter, but hopefully I'd like to see in that app a suggestions, you know, box where you put your suggestions and you submit it to them, and hopefully we can tailor what happens in the future of this and all other e-cigs. It is big, it is power sapping, and it does have its niggles, but it's a spot on mod. It really is. It's seriously cool, it's techy, it's gadgety, it's powerful as hell, and it's a solid recommendation from me. I absolutely love it. So guys, I'm not going to ramble on anymore. I keep looking at this thing, you know, like a kid looking at his crush. It is a great mod and I really do enjoy using it and having it, and I'm glad I own one. So, thank you very much from me, guys. I've been Mr. P, this is the BEC, and I shall see you soon.